What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up and yo, we are 2 weeks. Can y'all believe it, man? We are 2 weeks away from kicking off training camp, man. Football season is here. All the mock drafts we did, all the offseason discussion. We are 2 weeks away from Oxnard, which y'all know I'll be out there covering our Dallas Cowboys live. But y'all know me, man. Y'all know I'm an avid Madden player. It's what I do to kind of pass the time. You know, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? I can hold my own. But today I want to kind of pivot a little bit. We're not going to talk too much about the Cowboys in camp. We're going to talk about Madden, and Madden 24 season is upon us. So I had to bring in a guy, man, and to be honest with y'all, this guy has been killing things in the Madden circuit for years, man. I've been watching him for years. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a heads up. He don't support our team, man. He support that other team who we often talk about, man, the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's a good guy, man, one of the best, man. I'm actually subscribed to the channel, man, and he's been killing stuff. For those who do not know, in 2017, he won the whole damn thing. He brought home the belt. He brought home the money, man. He brought home everything, man. So CFO fam, let's give a warm welcome to my guy, Dubby. What's going on, bro?
Hey, Jay Tuck, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to talk Madden, Cowboys, Eagles, all that stuff, and talk to some real Cowboys fans, man, because most of you guys are kind of crabs, so I'm glad to sit here with some real ones, man, and talk some football.
Yeah, man. So you're already getting off to a bad foot, man. So I got to ask you this question, my guy, right? Because like you said, you're an Eagles fan. So if you had to choose, what was a better moment for you? Winning the Madden belt, winning the prize, or winning y'all first Super Bowl? You can only pick one, man.
That's tough. Probably the individual accomplishment.
Right.
It's kind of propelled my career to being a professional gamer and everything. And you know, one thing about the Super Bowl as an Eagles fan, I'm 36, so it was kind of like for a lot of my life, it was like we'll never get there, and everybody laughed at us and everything.
Right.
And I was at the Super Bowl and they won, and you get a little realization, I didn't really win anything. All that happens is nobody gets to laugh at you anymore.
Right.
That's what it is. Like we kind of watch sports to laugh at whoever loses, right? And then when you win, it's like, yeah, nobody can laugh at us anymore.
Right.
And that's the bragging rights. And honestly, it ends in about a couple months. Once that new season kicks off, once the training camp starts, even the draft, it's like, okay, everybody's on to the next season. Nobody wants to hear about your old accomplishments, man. That's it. So it ends fast, but the belt, your own individual championship, lasts forever.
Yeah, man, it definitely does. And it's funny you say that because I actually live here in Kansas City, right? So we know what happened. The G's kind of got the win over you guys in the Super Bowl. But like it was draft season here. They was already upset about their draft pick. They was already arguing like they want like it was like short lived. So that's why I tell people championships, they live for about 2 months and then nobody cares, man. So it's time to rev up for the new season. But speaking of your Madden journey, man, tell us a little bit like how did you start playing? Like what was the first Madden that you remember playing where you're like, all right, I like this game?
Well, football, I guess everybody plays video games. I started playing Super Mario on Nintendo. I mean, I'm 6, I said. So this was, the 90s or early 90s. And I would always play video games, I guess, to myself against the computer before internet, before online and everything. And then I guess middle school, high school, people started playing Madden. I played 2K5. Because we remember, how old are you, Jack?
Yeah, so I'm 39. Yeah, so,
right, so
we're same age,
right? So 2K5 had T.O. on the cover, right? Eagles T.O. was bigger than life for the 1 year he was here. It was unreal. And then it was $20,
right? Compared
to this $50 whatever for Madden. So that's what I started playing by myself, playing the computer. And but then once my boys started playing Madden in high school and middle school, and like I had two buddies that played a lot. My buddy Jeff and my buddy Moody. Those were two guys, and they would gamble all the time. And not a lot, $5 here, $10, whatever. And they were really good. And my man Jeff carried around a controller and stuff. And I remember, first playing them. Yeah, we were friends. And I remember first playing them. He took me to his parents' house. We sat there and played Madden. He beat me 3 straight games for $20 each. And when you're like 14, that's a lot,
right?
And we were friends. And he just literally took it, and he had no heart at all. He knew he would win these games,
right? And
I will never forget the feeling I had of him. I felt hopeless, and it happens to everybody pretty much in every field they try, and then you pretty much have a crossroads, man. What do I do? I want to get better at this. Is this something I want to do,
right,
to eventually, be the best in the neighborhood? And that was kind of what my drive was. And then that was the first obstacle, was beating my friends in the neighborhood, and that was Madden 06, I want to say, when I got really good. Better than them, at least.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Madden 08 until I became like really confident.
Yeah, so that's kind of like similar story to me, because a lot of people don't understand how good those 2K5 games was. Like, man, you had, I was telling people about the helmet cam. Like, you had the helmet cam on there where you can like kind of like be a linebacker or be a quarterback. But they also had this thing we don't remember. Like, they had like Carmen Electra, right? And like kind of like mirror her play style. Like, it was like crazy. Like, those 2K games were like ahead of its time. But all my friends, all my college roommates, they played Madden. Once again, man, I was kind of like the punching bag. And it was until the quarterback one, I think it was the one with the McNabb on it. Actually, they had the QB vision cone, where it's like that kind of changed things, where it's like, all right, you actually got to know football a little bit. So then I started to merge. And so for me, it was all about just beating my friends. Now my friends are old. They don't even touch Madden no more. And they don't even want to deal with it, man. So, but how did you get into playing like Madden professional, where you say, you know what, I'm good enough to actually qualify, and I'm going to go for the whole thing?
Well, like I said, 08 is kind of when I bought an Xbox 360. I used to be on like a gamer forum for Madden in 06 and 07. And once that forum transitioned to calling Xbox 360 the regular generation instead of next gen,
right?
And they called PS2 the old gen, that's when I was like, I need a 360. So Madden 08, I remember buying a 360. Madden 08 and Gears of War. Those were two games, probably two of my top 5 games ever. I played so much. And 08, I started playing, and Xbox 360 changed online gaming with the party chats and everything they did for that. And so just once you beat the next guy, then you want to move up the ladder. Who's better? Who's next? Who can I play now? And 08 is when I first started going to tournaments in life. And I grew up in Philly, so Philly is a hub for Madden. It always was. So it was kind of easy to access tournaments and things like that. But for me, I was never really a big gambler. I was kind of like on the side of the people that is afraid to lose money rather than excited to win money. I've always been that. So I didn't really, when it cost so much, people would drive and travel cities all over the country to go to these tournaments. The prize of the tournament might be $2,000 total of 100 people, and it's going to cost you $500 to get there. As 18-year-old, 20, I didn't have money to do that. And not only did I not have money, my thought was I'm going to lose money because I'm not going to win the tournament. I never thought I'd win a tournament. I'm just like, it's just, you got to be realistic. Like, there's so many people and they're just as good as you. So, but then in Madden 16, I always played a lot. In my 20s, I was never really a gamer. Like, that's my main priority. But Madden 16, they made it online, free to qualify. No reason not to try. That's when I started, and it still is now. Free to qualify. Anybody out there that wants to play, it's free.
We'll talk about that here in a second for those who want to try it. Now, to be honest with you, I tried it. Was it last year? No, it was during the pandemic. I tried it, man. And it's a lot of work. It was a lot of games on Weekend League, man. And I was spending a lot of money playing MUT, but it's like, So were you playing Madden professionally back when they had the ESPN show? So he's like go around and they were on the bus. Was that, I'm trying to think what years?
Madden Nation, I want to say 08 was a part of Madden Nation, maybe 07. And that time period is when I first started getting into it. A lot of that show, the show kind of a little bit put me on like, okay, these are guys I want to get to. That was kind of like a mark. I remember one of the players that I was like made me excited to play Madden was Sherm Sticky, and Sherm is one of the like OG Madden players because he would just cap at people and he would bring so much electricity to the video gaming. And Sherm was like one of the dudes that inspired me to be, who I am in Madden and want to be competitive in Madden for real, for sure. So I did watch those shows and they were like, I want to get there, but I wasn't established. Most of those players that were on the show were established competitive players as I am now. Back then, and I wasn't there yet at that time, but I definitely looked up to those guys.
Yeah, because I believe one of the guys was it Billy, the guy that was like a Bills fan or something like that. Because I remember they used to have the main game in Times Square, saying on the big jumbotron, like, man, I want to get there, man. But Tuck, you wasn't ready for that type of smoke, man. But it was like you said, man, Madden was different back then because it was kind of more rough and rugged. Now, things are a little bit more PC, but it was just like eye-opening that you can actually play Madden. And for those who were young enough and really don't know that, you would play Madden. Let's say, for instance, I represent the Cowboys, right? So I might get to go visit Dez Bryant or your favorite player from that team and play Madden. Like, it was a great show. I mean, honestly, I wish they would bring it back, but it was a good look for Madden, man. And they definitely loved the game. So, when you kind of talk about Madden, like, where we are today leading up to Madden 24, like, how do you feel about the game? Because I already see everybody in the chat, man, like, oh, I don't play Madden anymore, it's the same old game. Like, how do you feel? Because you played it for so long, you played so many different games competitively, man. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I like the game. I think it's I think I play all the sports games because I can transition. My fan base that watches Madden will watch 2K and baseball, even hockey or PGA. I can play any sports game, and every sports fan is a sports fan for the most part, you know. And I think it's the hardest game out of all of those. I think it's super complicated. In most part, football is the most complicated game, most confusing game. I always make the analogy of like if an alien came down, I had no idea what they were doing. Like, what sport would you teach them?
Right.
You wouldn't teach them football.
It's
right.
Going on.
And it goes like, what sport game would you teach them? You wouldn't teach them Madden.
Right.
Because it's like it's a lot involved.
Right.
Kids aren't playing Madden. You know, if you're under 10 years old, you're not really in them. It's just a little too complicated.
Yeah, I can't get my kids to touch it.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like, where can we find that balance? Because me, as you know, a sweat, I want it as complicated as possible, and the hardcore Madden football people want it as complicated as possible.
Right.
You know, because football is super complicated. It's a lot of strategy involved, and that's what I love about it. So, but then at the same time, we're not getting kids to play the game. We're not getting casual people to pick it up once a week and play because, dude, it's hard.
Right.
It's hard. It's a hard game to play. It really is, and so it's a tough balance of that. So I think that's I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not my job. But for me, I'm an adult now with a family. I want Madden to be as popular as possible. The more popular it is, the more successful I am. So I want everybody playing it and everybody having fun playing it. So I'm trying to help find a way, but I don't make the game. I just play the game.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it though.
Yeah, I'm excited to where, you know, I just got off the beta. We were just talking about that off cam, you know, before I jumped on the show. And it's like, I feel like with the, you know, with the yard or whatever they're trying to recreate, kind of like that 2K feel, it's going to be more for kind of arcade gamer to kind of jump on, play Madden quick. They also brought back some of the mini games when it comes to Madden this year. So it kind of gives you that quick feel. Like if you want to just jump on, play Madden real quick, you can do so. But if you want to play competitive, now let me ask you this. For someone who has played at the highest level of Madden, how much does actually knowing football come into play, or is it a video game? Like, you know, 'cause I always tell people, because I do a lot of concept football, and the reason why I understand a lot of concepts, even though I played the game, is because of Madden. So like smash concepts and mesh concepts and reading cover 2 and like these different things, I really learned it by playing the game of Madden. So how important is it to play at the highest level to really understand the game of football?
I mean, I think you can go hand in hand for the most part. And I think I've learned things in football from playing Madden. You know, the most simple thing in the world is like, if they're playing cover 2, send 3 people deep.
Right.
If they're playing 3, send 4 people deep.
Right.
It's kind of simple. People always ask me, how do you beat cover 4 with, you know, 4 deep zones? You know, not really. And I say, dude, if they have 4 deep zones, then they don't have that many people underneath. Just throw underneath. You know, some simple things like that. And you know, Madden's different than football, but it's the same, and it'll always be different than football.
Right.
You know, because football is there's 15-minute quarters. Madden would be a little bit different if it was 15-minute quarters. And Madden would be a little bit different. You got to realize there's 11 AI controlled people on the field. They don't have human brains. You know, it's hard to get. They're not going to do what humans do. Or football is 11 humans that can make their own decisions. They can take chances. They can make plays on their own outside of the scheme, like Troy Polamalu or something. You know, and Madden can't do that except for the one player you control. So it's never going to be real football. And you know, you just can't expect that, you know, because it's a video game. That's why you play it.
You know, there's going to be some catches that goes through your body. There's going to be some frustrations when your cornerback doesn't cover the flat and the cover 2 like you're playing, right? But like you said, it's a video game, and some people get, you know, so frustrated at it. So, but you see, I'm a Florida State fan, so you got the opportunity to play against one of my favorite Seminoles. He's a Charger, in Derwin James. So what was that experience like? Because Derwin, like, for those of you who don't know, like, Derwin's a killer out there in the Madden world. Like, so he's out there, he's a dog, man. So what was that experience like playing against Derwin James, just playing heads up against Madden? I think you won the game. Yeah, you did win that game, I thought. Yeah.
Now, this is how I feel. I mean, being a Madden, like, I'm a hardcore Madden player, and you know, it's like, it's my job. So it's like, I've grown to respect every other trade and profession that people do, because there's such a difference between me and a regular Madden player. I know so much more, so much better. So naturally, when you go into any type of game with anybody that's not like a professional diehard Madden player, you're like, this guy doesn't stand a chance, especially an NFL player. You know, this, because I think about it all the time, like, Derwin James has lived football forever. Not just lived football, lived conditioning his body and everything. That's his like how much time does he have to play video games? You know, it can't be that much, right? So there's no way. So there's no way
if it was.
You can't lose to an NFL player. You just can't, you know, because we're all out of shape playing video games, and these guys are training 10 hours a day to be superstars in NFL. So there's no way you lose to him. But Derwin is really good. He really is. I'll give it to him, man. He's a super sweat. he has a future playing Madden if he wants to, really. And it was nice to see he had a special with EA where he challenged people across the world and stuff. Yeah, that was dope to see. And it's always exciting for us Madden players where the NFL players interact with us, you know, and like Micah Parsons, huge Madden guy.
Yeah, Madden guy.
Huge. And it's to the point where he played on one of my tournaments, like he interacted with me and everything. And it's like, dude, this is like my favorite player in NFL now. And he's like my main rival in NFL. And it's like, but you don't understand how excited we get, man, because we're playing with these guys. Like, dude, I'm using Derwin James, or I'm going to pass rush Michael Parsons. And now all of a sudden they want to play Madden. They want to come down to our world. But we always look up to theirs. So it's super great to play people like Derwin, Mike, all these guys that love Madden.
And that's good because you're starting to see the merger. Because I'm seeing, like, salute to my guy Dez, man. Dez is often on Madden. So, you know, unfortunately, we didn't have crossplay last year, but now we're going to have crossplay. So I'm going to try to get some of these professional guys, you know, we can do a few little battles. But did you ease up a little bit when you was playing Derwin, or were you going for the juggler?
Derwin's too good to ease. Honestly, he really is. Like, he really is. If you slip up and take a play and, like, you know, let me just try this Hail Mary or something foolish, you'll lose. You know, he's not sweet, you know what I'm saying? But I did play Snoop Dogg. Okay. Probably like one of the, Snoop's a big Madden guy.
Yeah, Snoop's a huge Madden guy.
Yeah. And I remember playing him and all his boys. Now, I'll tell you a story now. All his boys, they hang out and play Madden like old school, like 8 or 10 of them in a party, talking shit, playing Madden, all this stuff. And this is the thing, like, they know I'm really good. So I would go in there and play, and they would keep it all casual with me, and I'd win games and everything. I remember I was playing Snoop Dogg. I was asking them, should I blow him out or should I keep it close? Snoop Dogg, it's like the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in the world. So, but no, I couldn't. You know, they wouldn't respect that. It was all handshakes. Everybody was all pleasant. I remember I probably played his whole crew, man, 3 or 4 times. Everybody was pleasant. You know, and I remember we played one squads game with me and a teammate, and we lost. And these guys changed their moves. So they talked so much shit after that one win. And it made me feel like a fool because I really wasn't talking shit all the times I beat them. And they flipped the script so fast and started talking all this shit. I mean, that's a good group of guys, man. Which a gangster gaming league. That's what Snoop Dogg puts on, man. But they're just like anyone else. Any other group of friends that play Madden, Snoop Dogg and his boys. But they definitely turned up after that one win. And I was salty that I didn't give it back to them all the wins I got.
Man, I tell you, like, there's something about the game of Madden. I don't know. Maybe it's just with our generation. It just brings the worst out of people, man. Like, I remember one night I was down here playing, and this guy was just in my headset, and I, you know, because he was up by like, I think he was up like 18-4, and I just came dotting back and came back and won, and I was just dogging him in the headset, right? My wife comes downstairs like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, sorry, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just brings, but I think it's just the spirit of football, that competitive aspect, man. But losing a Madden game, salute to my guy BJ Nix, man, in the chat, man. He knows, man, if I lose a Madden game, I might be done for the day, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely has that impact. So you played from Snoop Dogg to Derwin James to Micah Parsons. Who is your toughest opponent where it's just like, this guy's good? Like, you know, because I know like Henry kind of has right now. Salute to my guy Dreeny. Like, I kind of follow his blueprint. Like, there's a lot of kids, like a lot of those guys out there. Who was the guy when you came across like, man, this is a lot?
Well, I think one problem is the best Madden player ever, Eric Problem, right? He's the best ever. Now, we've played a lot. We're like the same age, so we came up in the same time. He was on the Madden Nation show, like we talked about and everything. But, you know, so I always try to beat him every chance I get because we're kind of like the same age, the same pedigree, everything like that. But, you know, my friend Skimbo is probably the best Madden player, in my opinion, you know, but I'm his friend, so we play a lot. So I have the blueprint. You know, it was like I beat the hell out of him behind the closed doors, you know. But I think he's the best Madden player. As far as somebody that I could never beat was young Kiv. He was PlayStation. Before the crossplay, you don't play these guys a lot. Like, I've never really played Henry ever, you know, so because of PlayStation. And Kiv was PlayStation, but we would meet up at different events and everything, and I would play him. I probably only played him not even 10 times, but when I played him, it was like, dude, this guy's playing a different game. Like, he was like one guy player was like, oh, he's so far ahead of me. Like, not even like being better, but calling the right plays at the right time, this style. Like, it was just, I was lost the first couple times I played him, even playing online now because he plays Xbox now. But I did beat him. We did play an important ladder game this year. I did get the dub. So it was my first. I'm probably like 1-8 versus him, and it was the last game we played. But he was the one player I matched up, and I was like, dude, this guy's out of this world.
Yeah. So when you guys do play your lab up, do you play the old school when just playing regs, or you guys are playing MUT and Ultimate Team your ultimate team versus their ultimate team. Because me personally, I like regs a little bit. You know, like I just old school fashion. I line up with my Cowboys. You pick your favorite team. We go. Of course, everybody this year is going to be a Dolphins fan magically. But it's just like, you know, I'm a regs guy. But when you guys link up, like, are you playing regs? You playing MUT? What's typically the game you guys go to?
Whatever mode we have to play the tournament on.
Gotcha.
You know,
because it rotates, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now it's all MUT. Last year was all MUT. It's probably the first year it was all MUT. Normally they have a regs, draft champions, maybe a salary, different modes. But last year was all MUT. So we didn't touch regs at all. Honestly, the beta, after the beta, once MUT drops, you're buying your pass. I just try to get a team good enough to play on the field and just start playing, just start banging games out. And, you know, so like I said, if you're going to play in the NFL, you're not going to practice on the CFL field, right? You got to practice at what you're going to play on for the most part.
Yeah, so there's the news, man. That's the, you know, the done for a lot of people who want to play competitive is all going to be done in MUT. And to be honest with you,
I don't know this year. Who knows?
More than likely, because that's where the money resides. Where the money resides, man. Because it's like I remember last year when I did play or whatever that year I played in the tournament, I just started spending money on packs. No, that was last year because it was the Donald Parham year where he kind of came out the gate and everyone was ad catching with him. I was like, I gotta go spend some money, man. So it's like, I get it, but MUT, man, it's like a full-time job. So
it is
for a lot of competitive.
It is.
Yeah. So for a lot of competitive Madden players, like how many hours do you say a week that you put in just playing Madden? Just in the lab, online, weekend league, like.
Oh, you're going easily. I mean, easily 12 hours a day at least. The other people might be 15, 20. It's a job. Yeah. It is 100% a job. Dude, Henry's won over $500,000 playing this game. There's at least 20 people that are over six figures winnings in this game. It is 100% a job. And honestly, this is what's crazy about it is my job is to play Madden, make content in Madden all day. That's my job. And I'm behind because I'm not playing competitively for 12 hours a day, if that makes sense. You know, so it is not for a part-time person. It's not a part-time thing. And if you are going to be part-time, you can certainly try, but you have to know that you're going to be behind the 8 ball. Right. And you know, that's just the competitive side. That's like any game. You know, people aren't playing Call of Duty part-time and competing in the Call of Duty league. They're not. Esports is a big thing now, and it's tough for people to realize, like, I can't play Madden after work and win hundreds of $1,000s. No, it's a job. You know, you can try. Yeah, and you can try. This is how I feel. It's going to cost you time, or it's going to cost you money. It's one or the other. If you don't have time and you don't have money, maybe video games are not what you need to be doing right now. You know, that's how I always felt, especially trying to compete in them. You can play them for sure, no doubt. You know, it's just not. It's not for a half-ass effort, because there's not half-ass efforts going on out here, and it's full-time efforts from 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, you know, not grinding people with families and jobs.
And so that's y'all. That is why y'all probably won't see me playing professionally, because it's either y'all gonna get me on playing Madden, or y'all not gonna get no Cowboys coverage, because I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? So it eats up all my clock, man. So me playing on a Saturday morning while the family's still asleep is not gonna cut it, man. So so I mean, you played Madden, you do the Twitch streaming and everything. But once again, you're an Eagles fan. So now I want to kind of pivot into some football talk, man. So, you know, the Eagles Super Bowl, you saw what happened, but then you also kind of had a good draft here in Kansas City, picking up the pretty much the entire Georgia roster. How was your thoughts coming after the Super Bowl loss, or where you currently stand before you guys head into camp?
The Super Bowl was tough because, I mean, it was kind of a hopeless feeling. I feel like they made a couple bad calls. You know, they're not the refs. Let's talk about the Eagles. You know, they should have went for some things. You know, one thing about Madden is that sometimes we accept that we're not stopping the other person. Like, this person's going to score. I feel like one thing that, you know, that's the biggest difference, I swear, between a coach in the NFL and a Madden player. We will gladly say, you know, I'm not stopping this guy. I don't care if it's only been 2 possessions. NFL coaches, teams, coordinators have so much pride. I don't think they'll ever be like, we can't stop this team. You know, and, you know, so they still play a little bit too passive. And I think it bit the Eagles a little bit, but it was tough because, I mean, the whole question about the Eagles going into the year was, is Jalen Hurts good enough to play quarterback? That was the whole question. Like this time last year, he was the entire question mark. Your team is great, right? But Jalen Hurts isn't a quarterback. That was the entire narrative going into the Eagles. And Jalen Hurts was a second-team All-Pro, and he played great in the Super Bowl. Like, he played unreal, and it was like, he may never get there again. It's a realization that, like, you know, and it's easy to have Jalen Hurts as your favorite player and root for him. He's easy to root for.
Right.
You know, he's a player that if he wasn't on the Eagles, everybody would be a fan of him. If he wasn't on your rival team, he's like a Peyton Manning or somebody like that, where it's like you just got to respect him and root for him. And to see him put that effort and be like, damn, he may never get back there again, you know, and he had a chance to win. That's why it was tough. I mean, the draft, I'm super excited. I don't watch college ball that much.
Oh, yeah.
Being from Philly
rightfully
in the
playing 12 hours of Madden a day, man. Ain't no college football for you, man.
But when you're from Philly, Philly's not a college town. You know, it's not. So we don't really care about college. Maybe a little bit of basketball, but not college football. So I don't really know that much. But it seems a pretty simple pattern here. Just pick the best players on the best team. You know, I mean, you know, it seems pretty simple, and it worked. It worked Jordan Davis, so we'll see what happens with Jalen Carter. I didn't think we'd get him. And then Nolan Smith. I mean, and what's crazy is I look at Madden too, like, dude, okay, Nolan Smith's gonna be 95 speed linebacker. Like, yes, that's a good man. I mean,
ooh, that'd be scary. Yeah,
we'll see. He's definitely 90 plus.
Because rating week is next week, right? Or ratings might be this week. I think I saw something, but yeah, that'd be scary. But yeah, I think from the Eagles standpoint, when it comes to the draft, you know, I was in the draft room and to my guy Joe Castro, who covers the Eagles as well. And I just kind of felt it like they're about to go get Davis, and they're about to go get Jalen Carter. Like, they're going to stack the deck. But it's going to be interesting to see, like, does it actually work? Because we've never really seen this in sports. It's like if you take all the best college players from one team and put them on the same team at the pro level, does it work out? And so it's like the equivalent of if somebody in the NBA would have drafted the Fab Five, you know, and put, you know what I'm saying, would it work? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. Now, you mentioned about Jalen Hurts taking the leap from last year from the previous year to last year. What do you think is next for Jalen Hurts? I know you guys lost your offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, had a little turnover there, but as far as the weaponry, offensive line pretty much remains intact. Where do you think is that next level for Jalen Hurts?
I mean, the same thing we've been talking about, just decisions in the pocket, you know, getting rid of the ball on time. I mean, as much as he fried in the Super Bowl, they were kind of boxed in the NFC Championship game. You know, they just pretty much ran the ball, and eventually the well broke for the Niners, really. They were kind of boxed. They were, and you know, I don't know why. I don't know what plays they called against what defense, you know. That game was kind of hopeless for the Niners. It was hopeless for the Niners. So, but you always get better. And there's no reason to not think that he wants to get better. Just his attitude and his work ethic is like, you know, the sky's the limit for him for the most part. So we're excited. The thing that happened with the Eagles last year, they didn't get injured at all. You know, Lane Johnson got banged up a little bit, hurts at the end of the year, but dude, no real injuries anywhere else. CJ missed a couple games with a kidney and everything, but they were healthy, man. And it's hard to ask for that all the time. They were really healthy. So, and same thing when they won the Super Bowl, super healthy. You know, that's a big lucky thing in the NFL. Honestly, it really is. So, but yeah, just keep improving. I mean, the sky's the limit for him, and that's how we feel. We're super excited if we just continue this growth that he gets year by year. Yeah, and I agree. Like that's the thing that you actually need. Like, not just to get to the Super Bowl, you need a little luck on your side health wise, because if that shoulder injury would have lingered a little bit more into the playoffs, no telling how that season works out for the Eagles. So, you know, I feel like the Eagles have a more than competent roster. I feel like Jalen Hurts, he reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. They're just going to always work. Like, you're not going to have to worry about them taking days off. You know what I'm saying? So they keep a chip on their shoulder. And, you know, we'll let the best team win the NFC East. Now, of course, we got to talk about the Cowboys a little bit, because I know we talked on Twitter about this, and I kind of like compared Dak Prescott to one of your favorite quarterbacks in Donovan McNabb. But what is your honest thoughts when it comes to Dak Prescott, even though he is a Dallas Cowboy quarterback? You know what? This goes back to, I guess, Romo. I gotta start with Romo. I hated Romo. Because I think every player kind of has like this arc of where when they're kind of overrated when they first start, right? Especially Cowboys. Oh my, when they first start, they're super overrated. No, when they first start, they start getting way too much hype, and Romo was a savior for like the first 2 years. I don't know if Romo was undrafted or just he was undrafted. Yeah, so this guy came out of nowhere and he was tough. And oh my God, everybody was a Romo fanboy for so long. But then the arc changed, and they started hating on Romo because every media outlet that isn't a Cowboys outlet piles on Romo. And it was almost like, damn, this guy did nothing wrong to get all this hate. Like, he's not a bad guy or anything. Like, damn. So it's almost like, damn, Romo's getting too much hate. And I think Dak is kind of on that downward, like, he's getting too much hate.
Yeah.
But you know, part of it is rightfully, put upon them because we're losing playoff games that are winnable.
Yeah.
They weren't outmatched. The Cowboys weren't outmatched versus the Niners. They weren't. The Niners had a great defense. The Niners weren't going to score on the Cowboys consistently. They weren't.
Right.
If you just don't throw interceptions, the Cowboys probably get out of there with a win or have a good shot at getting out of there with a win. So just gotta be more careful with the football for the most part. But dude, is he bad? No. Is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? Yes.
Right.
If everything clicks together, everybody stays healthy, limit those mistakes. And what's crazy is last year was, his most mistake-filled season. Right. It really was. And a lot of them were unlucky too, but a lot of them were bad too. They're probably 50-50 were super unlucky, like bounced off hands.
Yeah.
So
Jaguars
it's tough to see those. It's actually great to see those.
I know you was happy.
Especially the Jaguars game. But,
well, that one he threw against you guys on Christmas Eve, I was just like, what are we doing here? The
pick on the little screen or the little flat pass,
the Josh Sweat. Yeah, I was like, come on, man. But then he snapped out of it. So
he was the reason the Eagles lost that game. He was really good in that game. Like that was the one guy I was like, damn, he's actually like frying, like can't do anything with him right now. Yeah. So as much as the Eagles want to say we had Gardner Minshew, but I mean Dak Prescott won that game.
Right.
He was that good, really. So, but he's good enough to win, but everything else has to be great around them too. Right. Things have to go well. I don't think he's a world beater like a Mahomes or something like that, but it's not that many Mahomes. It's probably only one Mahomes, really, if we're being honest. Everybody else is low-key kind of overrated, honestly. Right. So he's definitely good enough, but can't duplicate what he did last year. Last year was a bad year for Dak, all in all.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that's where we all are as Cowboys fans. We're not saying Dak is the best quarterback in the NFL, but it's like he's top 10, right? But he has to prove it in the postseason. But there's a lot of quarterbacks around the NFL that has to prove in the postseason as well. Like, it's not just Dak Prescott, but we know how the media is. And, some of that hate, you mentioned Tony Romo. Dak Prescott kind of came in with some of that hate, especially amongst Cowboys fans, because a lot of Cowboys fans still have that connection with Tony Romo. So it's just Dak has always had an uphill battle. And I kind of see the same thing with Jalen Hurts coming under Carson Wentz, where it's like Carson was kind of the guy. A lot of people didn't rock with Jalen Hurts until he actually showed it improve. And so, winning in the postseason helps. It's going to help your story out and, definitely propel you into that elite conversation, but you ain't gonna be in that Mahomes conversation. I don't care what what I'm saying. Like, it's just, like I said, living here in Kansas City, man, it's just different. So what is your thoughts on the NFC East going into the season now? Because I've been trying to say this. There hasn't been a Super Bowl loser who went back to the Super Bowl the following season. We know how the NFC East is with, repeat division champions, but what's your thoughts on the NFC East as a whole?
The Eagles should win. That's it. That's expectation. Like, as much as it is, they got to be the favorite going into it, regardless of history from 15 years or, the history of the Super Bowl loser. They still got to be the favorite. They do. So that's the expectation you have. I know they got new coordinators. They still got the same head coach, so, and that's the expectation, without a doubt. The Eagles don't win the division, it'll be a disappointment, unless somehow them and the Cowboys are both like 14-2 or something wild like that.
Right.
We don't have that. So, the expectation is to win. The Cowboys, I mean, they definitely improved, because getting the, Brandon Cooks definitely going to help. Gilmore, I mean, dude, I still like Devontae and AJ over those two, but they definitely in improvements. Definitely.
Right. So over Noah Brown and Dennis Houston and who else? And T.Y. Hilton. So yeah.
Oh, I mean, just I still like the Eagles winning against those corners. That's what I mean. Like, they still not going to cover Devontae and AJ for the most part, but nobody's going to cover receivers that good. Like CD, nobody's going to cover receivers that good. That's not how the league works unless you're Revis. But, so I think the Cowboys should be second. The Giants definitely overachieved last year. We'll see what happens with Saquon. What's he going to do? I don't think it matters too much, honestly. It's crazy, but I don't think it matters too much.
So as far as Saquon playing or just the Giants, you don't think the Giants are going to be in the thick of things?
No, I don't think Saquon playing matters that much to the Giants' success. And it's probably the toughest thing to do because there's probably half the people in the Giants organization think the same thing.
Right.
Like, we can replace him.
Right.
And how do you replace your entire franchise that you drafted so high and just has been how do you do that? Like,
Right.
it's like Derrick Henry. You can't get rid of Derrick Henry. You have to sign him if you're the Titans, right? You just can't.
I mean, we just
it's like
did
Zeke.
it. Yeah, we just
it's like
did,
Zeke.
yeah,
It's 100% like Ezekiel Elliott. But I feel like Zeke, y'all got more out of Zeke than the Giants did out of Saquon.
Right.
For the most part, you know, like, so that's a decision that, like, you're kind of forced to sign him.
Right.
You know, or to make that tough decision that you got to go, which all in all is probably the right decision for the most part. You know, the Eagles, they let Miles Sanders walk without even thinking about it. Now, he's not Zeke or Saquon.
Right.
But, you know, some Eagles fans are like, yeah, Miles Sanders is good. He was terrible. That's not terrible, but he was just serviceable.
Right.
And it's a tough decision for them to make. But, you know, I don't think, honestly, I'm not more scared of them or, you know, less afraid of them if Saquon's on the team or not. I think they'll be solid, but I don't know if they have the roster to compete. In Washington, they're always sneaky. They beat the Eagles last year.
Yeah, they beat us too.
Kind of a pain. Yeah, like, I don't know what they do. I don't know what. But Daniel Snyder, is that he like officially out? I think
he's
that
out.
was the biggest. That was the biggest downside of that team. You know, I mean, listen. Sports organizations start with the ownership. That's why the Eagles have been successful for the last 30 years. Not like overly successful, but competitive. You know, they've been in the playoffs. They've had great teams, you know, won Super Bowl, but they've been in the mix, right? And that's, as a fan, that's important. You know, like, let's say it doesn't matter if you don't win a Super Bowl. Yes, it does. I got to watch 3 extra weeks of football, including the Super Bowl, including championship game, all that stuff. And I was involved and invested in the NFL season because my team was good. That's important, just like you guys were, because the Cowboys were good last year, right? It makes your investment and your enjoyment of this NFL season that much better. I'm not a big gambler. I am a diehard hometown team supporter. So if my team is good, it's going to make the NFL that much more enjoyable for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, so that's what matters, you know. So it all starts with the owner, and Daniel Snyder was just, I don't know what was going on over there. You know, we might find out. It might be memoirs.
John Gruden's starting to talk a little bit, so it might be some skeletons get pulled out that closet.
So we'll see. So I think getting rid of him will pretty much be the biggest help for Washington, because I think Ron Rivera has been nothing but a good coach for so long. So I think they're pretty good, but the quarterback is the biggest question mark. So we'll see. So that's pretty much the pecking order of NFC East.
And that's the thing with the NFC East. It's like, I feel like we're the best division in football, but we're always Dr. Jekyll and Mr. We can mess around and turn back to the NFC least like real quick, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you just never know with us. But it's like, I feel like from top to bottom, I feel like we're one of the best divisions in football, because I feel like, even though you mentioned Sam Howell, I feel like he's a huge question mark coming out of North Carolina. He's sneaky. I've been called him like an off-brand Baker Mayfield, so he has enough weapons to kind of manage the game and still make them competitive, especially with that defense. So it's going to be some battles. And, you know, week 1, we start off with the Giants. So, you know, Saquon, if you need to rest a little bit and get your money, it's perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? You can sit out a little bit, but we'll see what definitely shakes in the NFC East. But one thing about the Eagles, I got to ask you this, man, because I saw you got the Jalen Hurts autograph drawing that you make. You do a lot of drawings. So you have to pick. This is my favorite Eagles player all time. This is my guy. When I think about Philadelphia Eagles, this is my guy. Who is it?
I mean, it's got to be Dawkins for the most part, you know. But I mean, as a kid, McNabb, was his career coincided with me being 12 to 13 to 14 years old. So McNabb was my favorite player because he was the quarterback. You know, Dawkins is, looking back, Dawkins is like the mythical idol of your franchise. Like, there's nobody that's going to top Dawkins. You know, Kelsey's getting close. But Dawkins is just like, you know, he is the Eagles, you know. But McNabb was my favorite player as a kid. And as you get older and, you know, even sports in general, I get a different feel for people, how they behave, how their personalities were. And, you know, I wish him and T.O. would have just, I mean, T.O. has experience or, you know, a bunch of examples of being an asshole, but I still think McNabb and T.O. could have handled that, because it was almost like, how do you waste both of y'all primes and something that was so special over ego? I feel like that's just like, there's no place in my life where I would waste that much potential because of an ego, you know, and it's everybody's fault, you know, to some extent. So that kind of, as much as McNabb fell off at the end of his career, the biggest thing that soured me was just the just not being able to figure it out with Terrell Owens. They were so good. That was electric, but he was my favorite player. So McNabb was my favorite, but Dawkins is the Eagles for the most part.
Yeah. And then, you know, like, and then T.O. came over to Dallas, right? But it's like, they were a force, you know, when Donovan McNabb and T.O. was there in that Super Bowl and T.O. came back from the leg injury. It's just like, here they go, but they just never got over the hump and actually won the Super Bowl. But I'm sure you'll probably say yes, but do you think that Donovan McNabb gets in the Hall of Fame anytime soon? Did he do enough?
No, I mean, I don't know. Quarterback's so tough because it's like, well, look at his numbers compared to quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Quarterback's numbers weren't good until Peyton Manning kind of changed the game and Tom Brady and the last 10, 15 years. Before that, quarterback numbers were dreck. They weren't that good. John Elway, if you look at people consider him the top 5 quarterback ever, it's just nothing in the statistical category. It's nothing, So McNabb will have stats, and he was always a great player, but it just depends on how they. So I think it's hard to make a stat argument. To me, I don't really care, that much.
Yeah, he's Hall of Fame in your book. I feel like
it's my favorite player.
I feel like he'll be there, but it's gonna probably take a while. It's gonna be later down the road before Don. But I think he deserves it. Like with the NFC championships, the Super Bowl appearances, the statistics were there, the wins were there with the Andy Reid. Like, I feel like I sit back and we watch that Hall of Fame game. We always watch it every year. We always sitting back saying, who the hell is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like Donovan McNabb deserves to be in there, but when will that actually happen? I don't know, man. So everyone's asking the chat, man, since Madden is crossplay, is Tuck going to play Dubby, man? We'll have to get a game in, but we're not going to stream it, man. He ain't going to dog walk me in front of y'all, man. So we'll have to get a game in because I'm on PlayStation. You're on Xbox, right?
Oh, I mean, at this point, you have both systems, but my PlayStation pretty much collect dust. I kind of force myself to play it once every couple of weeks just so, it's not a terrible investment. So it definitely collects dust. But yeah, I have both systems for the most part. We'll see how crossplay works. I didn't care about crossplay. I didn't care for the most part. I always felt like if you want to play with your friends, get the same system as them. I never understood why people want to crossplay that bad, especially for a one-on-one game. 2K, when you're doing 5-on-5, maybe you got one cousin that makes a lot of sense. Or Fortnite or Call. When you're playing with 4 people in a group or 5, that makes sense. When you're playing one-on-one, like, dude, there's millions of people to play in the world. Get outside your little friend niche and find some more people for the most part. So if it works, it's great. Definitely pro crossplay, but that's to give them faith that it's going to work clean. I'd rather have a well-oiled machine that Madden would be without crossplay. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah, because I play a few crossplay games. Like I said, it's just for people like me who want to play inside your bubble a little bit. Because I was on Xbox. Salute to my guy Nick's. Then all my friends got a PlayStation. Then they keep bouncing back and forth. So it's like the older you get. Can I tell people when we were young, man? We used to turn on our Xbox, turn on our PlayStation, have 15, 30 of our friends on a Friday night all on live, man. That ain't like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can get a game in one of your good friends, like, oh, man, I got practice with the kids and the baby and also, like, those days are gone, man. So that's why I don't do a lot of franchise mode and different things like that. So when we're able to get a game in, you know what I'm saying, I try to squeeze one in. So from what I played from the cross-play, it went pretty smooth in the beta, but we'll see, man, because you also got the PC guys kind of jumping in as well, man. So we'll see how that all works out. There's going to be any glitches or mods or anything like that, man. So Dubby, bro, appreciate you for jumping on, man. For those of people who are seeing you for the first time, let everybody know where they can find you, my guy.
I mean, you can find me on Twitch. Twitch is a live streaming platform. It's dub. On Twitch, and on YouTube it is dub.dubby. For all your Madden, I'm a Madden head. I play football video game. That's pretty much what I do. That's my expertise. I'm an Eagle fan. I feel like I'm kind of based in my opinions for the most part. You guys got to understand that being from Philadelphia, we don't really hate Cowboys fans. We really hate the Cowboys fans that are in Philadelphia. Because yeah. Okay. The only reason to be a Cowboy fan if you're from Philadelphia is to just be an asshole, pretty much, right? You just want to be a contrarian. You just want to be obnoxious. You want to be annoying. If you're from Philadelphia, right? Like, that's the only way. You want to just argue with your friends and be different. So those people will always be different, annoying, obnoxious. So that's the disdain we have for Cowboys fans. Not so much you guys, the Texas guys, guys that are not in Philadelphia, but to choose the Cowboys living in Philadelphia, you got to be just an annoying human being. That's all. With no pride or nothing.
Well, I guess he's not technically Philadelphia, but Micah Parsons is from PA and he was a Cowboys fan. So, but PA, like, it's actually just in the Philadelphia is what you're talking about, right?
Well, I mean, Michael might not be the greatest person. Who knows? Do we really know his character? I'm not going to. I mean, I like him. He's one of my favorite players because of the Madden thing. Yeah. But is he really a great guy?
Oh, Mike is a great guy, man.
Maybe he wants to be a contrarian. Maybe he does. Who knows? But yeah, that's what we deal with. And the ones in Philly are always the most obnoxious, you know. So that's kind of when we close our eyes and think of a Cowboys fan, it's just an obnoxious, you know, person that lives in the city, whether New York or Philly or anywhere else, and they just wanted to be different, obnoxious. So that's kind of the vibe we get from a lot of y'all, and it's hard to tell people apart, man. For most part, you got to figure it out, and you got to find the real ones, and you one of them. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, man, real Cowboys fans, lots in chat, man. Appreciate you, man. Everyone in the chat, man. Y'all, how y'all gonna come on my show and pick Dubby to beat me in Madden, man? I need some people to support me, man. I might pull off the upset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: everyone kind of watching who's trying to get their Madden game up, what is 2 quick tips you can provide everybody? Because I know you kind of told me, because you were watching some of my clips, you're like, bro, get the linebacker out of there and put those safeties in there. I was like, my bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was out there roaming with, you know, LVEs, like get that linebacker out there. So what are some quick tips, like offensively and defensively, that people can just try once Madden launches to can instantly boost their game?
I mean, what the first tip I give you is that you gotta want it. You know, you gotta make a decision. Do you want to get better at this or not? And that comes with the biggest advice I can give you is that don't blame the game, man. You got to find out what you did wrong and what you can do better. And I think anybody that wants to excel in any profession, you look at yourself and what you can improve first. I feel like with Madden, it's a big, oh, the game cheated me, or I got to spend more money, or this guy's team is better. There's always an easy excuse. And that's one of the downsides with the money being such a big deal in Madden. It's just it's a built-in excuse. Sometimes a valid one, without a doubt. Right? But it's a built-in excuse that people are ready to lean on before a game even finishes. So if you can remove the necessity to blame something other than yourself and figure out what can I do better, and always look for that self-improvement rather than the reason why you lost that wasn't in your control, then you will become a better Madden player. It is pretty much the foundation of improving in anything. You know, improving yourself and what you can do better rather than making excuses. That's the first bit of advice, because everybody that sucks at Madden blames the game. Everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Every single
this game's
person.
trash. You know, like
myself included. Myself included. 100%. Everybody that does that, that's what happens, and it's natural.
Right.
But to fight that urge and say, how can I get better? You know, and you got to accept the game too. That's another thing. I remember the first time I got nano blitzed in Madden 08, I turned online. This dude was sacking me instantly as I snapped the ball. And I said, I didn't quit. I said, you know what? I'm going to spend the next 2 quarters getting blown out, and I'm going to figure out what defense this is, because I want to run this on the next guy. You know, the next guy I'm about to face, I want to run this defense. So that's the other crossroads you get to. Like, what do I want to get involved in this? Do I want to accept this game for what it is? And I think that's two of the biggest things is don't make excuses, man, and accept the game for what it is. There's always little things to get better. I know so much, but I've been playing the game for 20 years. So every little thing and everything you learn from even Madden 06 can translate to now. Just tackling angles, like football stuff, you know, like if someone's beating you to the sideline, you better take a different angle, you know, and that's something I noticed from a lot of players that aren't that good at tackling. So it's just so much little things, but the biggest thing is just making sure you accept what you can get better, and accept that what the game is, and you want to do this. You got to make sure I want to do this. It's my fault. I suck, and you know the game sucks, but I'm gonna learn it. The game might suck, but if you got to learn it, right? You just got to.
You got to.
Honestly, probably like for Micah Parsons, man, these roughing the passer penalties suck, right? Like you can't even breathe on a quarterback, but they got to accept it, right?
They're not
going to quit. They're not going to quit rushing the passer because they can't hit him anymore. Let's figure out how to do this, how to do it within the rules, and how to not get a big penalty, man. And that's kind of how Madden is, man. Accept how bad it is sometimes, and learn how to be better at a bad game, so to speak, or be better at something you don't like. If you want to do it, you don't have to. You know.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate you guys in the Madden community. I watch all of you guys. Like for a lot of people who watch my channel, they know how much football film I watch. I'll watch these guys just like I watch film, man. So I'll sit back, like I study Henry's, you know, defense with the nickel 3-3-5, and you know, like I'm sitting there always watching, like, oh, what are they doing now? When I watch you guys playing the Madden championships, like, all right, what can I add to it now? But yeah, I'll say that. And I remember the funniest story that happened to me. Like I played a guy one night. It was late night, like on 1 a.m. and he kept nano blitzing me, killing me. And the crazy thing, after the game, he sent me a link to his YouTube channel. Like, want to know how to stop this blitz? Follow my channel. Like, man, and And I clicked on that link, man. I was just like,
you made a decision. Yeah, I was like, a little better. I gotta figure this out.
I was a little hurt by it, but I was like, man, let me go ahead and click this link, man, because he was hitting me up, man. So I appreciate you guys, man. Well, Dubby, my guy, man, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you. We have to have you back when we get to Cowboys, Eagles. You ever come?
No, I'm planning on December 10th.
Oh, so I'll be in the building, man.
I'm locking. I see. I want to lock it in. Madden, though, we don't know the schedule for competitive Madden.
Okay.
And I got to make a decision. I don't want to keep, I want a lot of people to be there. Like, dude, tons of Texas fans, the Cowboys fans follow me and they would love to go.
Yeah.
So tailgate, and everything like that. So for me, I want to lock it in. But then I know as soon as I do, they'll be like, well, the championship's that weekend or something like that. But I'm probably 95%. I wanted to go last year to Dallas. But it was like Christmas Eve. And I was like, Christmas Eve is tough for the most part. But I want to go this year. I kind of almost want to make it a yearly thing to meet, the Cowboys fans down there and everything. And network, I guess, for the most part. And I've been there once. I've been to Texas Stadium one time and saw a preseason game, and it's pretty spectacular, so it's definitely going to be a good time and probably better weather than up here for the most part.
Ain't going to be no snow, no nothing, man. So definitely, man. I'll shoot you my phone number after this, man, because I'll be in the building, man. And we'll see what happens, unless the season kind of unfolds for both of us. By you know what I'm saying, but
I feel like we get injuries.
I ain't doing that, man. I'm out. You know what I'm saying, but last year was a fun game on Christmas Eve, especially from the Cowboys, standpoint. But it's always a fun time at AT&T, man. So we'll definitely link up, man. So appreciate you, my guy, man. For everyone who's following me, man, I appreciate the support. Follow me at jtuck151 on all social media platforms, Twitter, Threads, Instagram, you name it, I'm everywhere. CFO Sports is the YouTube channel. Comment, like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. If we get to 10,000 W before the first game, I'm going to take 2 Cowboys fans to the opener versus the New York Jets. So we got some work to do, man. But we're definitely going to get there, man. But I appreciate everyone in the chat for linking up with us. We'll do this again. Get your Madden game right, man. Definitely follow my guy, W, man. Don't be out there representing CFO gang and y'all getting dub walked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see everyone like, Tuck, play me. Like, bro, I ain't going to play if I'm walking through you, man. So get y'all game right. Let's represent. Let's have a good football season, man. So I appreciate everyone. Want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged, and go Cowboys. Peace.